Veejay Jones is the 2022 OCR World Champion in the 3K race. Veejay Jones, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Feels good. Feels real good.
You won the same race in 2021, also finishing right before Ryan Kempson in second place. How does 2022 differ from 2021?
It was a lot harder. It was much more difficult. The race was actually longer. It was almost 4K. It wasn't just 3. So if you're planning to run 3K, you kind of went a little too hard too early. But Kempson, he has an ability to hurt like no other athlete. Like he will cross the line completely tank emptied, but like no one else I've ever seen. So if you want to beat him, you have to hurt for it. And he came in much more fit this year than last year. So he put up a real fight, and I had to hurt for it the whole way. So we were taking big risks on obstacles. We were jumping into everything. And he was hanging on. Like I threw a couple punches in the race trying to break him, and he just hung on. So it was a little closer than I would have liked it to be, but it doesn't matter if you win by, a second or a minute. Win's a win.
The final time you finished in 1956, he finished in 2013, so 17-second margin.
Yeah, not too bad. I think I got that separation right at the end there. He made a big surge to get in front of me, and I held out, and I was able to edge him out over those last couple obstacles. And I had some bigger risk moves go into some obstacles that kind of put me ahead, and they paid off.
Another guy you're competing against finished in third place, Ryan Atkins. What's it like to compete against Atkins?
That's a guy you can never underestimate. Like every time you count him out of a race, like he'll show up and be right there. So I always expect Atkins to be right at the front of a race, no matter what the distance is, no matter what the terrain is. He can always put up a fight. But yeah, he honestly, I think a lot of the field has leveled up, and they're able to compete more closely to Atkins' level, and even surpass him sometimes, which is really cool to see, which means that he doesn't get to just dominate everything all the time, because there was a time when it was just the Atkins show. He could show up to any distance, not really prepare specifically, and still be the man across everything. So now that athletes are better in certain disciplines and able to throw down and keep up with him, it's pretty cool. But I think with the last few races, him being right there, but not quite going for the win, I think at the end of this year, we're going to see a very motivated Atkins. I think going into Blue Mountain and then going into Spartan Worlds, he's going to be very, very fit and very hard to beat. So beating him here, it feels good, but that means that it's going to be that much harder of a fight in the months to come.
Blue Mountain is the last race in the Spartan North American Elite Series. Will you be in Blue Mountain?
I will not. I've kind of let the series go. I'm going to see how I hang in. So I pretty much locked up second place, but there's one route that happens where I lose second place. And we're just going to hope that doesn't happen, and hope that I can hang in and maintain second in the series. It's kind of a bummer. I felt really confident at the beginning of this year, being able to wrap up and win that series. But, illness and stuff kind of stopped me from pursuing that plan. But, on to other things.
What about Spartan Worlds, Abu Dhabi? Will you see you over there?
I hope so. It's an expensive trip. It's a really big trip, but that's something I really, really want to do. In the years past, my fitness hasn't been in a place where I could compete in those longer mountain events. And now that, my body is starting to catch up there, and I'm able to throw down and something that would be like a Tahoe. Now it's not in Tahoe. Now it's in Abu Dhabi. So I'm going to try to figure out how to get over there. I'm working on it. maybe try to convince Spartan to help me out. We'll see. But I'd really like to make that trip. That would be a blast, not just for the race, but also for the experience of being over in a different part of the world. I've never left North America, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity to do that.
It's a pretty unique course. You saw the video from last year. They're literally running up and down sand dunes.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I think we're going to see a little bit of a different course this year. I've heard it's been moved a little closer to the city, a little closer to the ocean, so maybe a little more runnable, but still, you got to keep the sand dunes in there, right? So, fortunately, I live in Colorado, and Colorado is home to some of the biggest sand dunes in North America. So I can actually drive a couple hours and go run on some huge dunes and get some specific prep. I'm actually heading over there on Monday to do my first little excursion out there, see what it's about, just experience it, and then also get some running and training in just to feel out what that's going to be like. Because I think um, more just having the experience and knowing what that is going to feel like versus training on solid ground all the time, running really fast, and you get on the sand and you're like, I'm not moving. I don't know how to deal with this. So I'll be making some trips out there, uh, try to get some specific prep and hopefully be able to throw down.
When I think of Colorado, I think of snow-capped mountains. I think of the incline. I did not know there were sand dunes out there.
Neither did I. I heard from some people that there's these, they're called the Great Sand Dunes.
Okay.
Um, we're hoping that great means big and great doesn't mean like, fun. So we're going to go check it out. You'll probably see some content on my social media from there. And I'm going to try to every few weeks make a trip out, maybe camp out overnight and just get one or two workouts out there just to keep that fresh in my mind and build up that experience.
During the OCR World Championships, you also did some broadcasting for the OCR report. How was that?
Yes, that was a blast. Um, Unfortunately, I had this weird thing going on with me the night before where I stayed up till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I could not sleep. So I only got 2 hours of sleep before then. When listening back, I thought I sounded a little dry and tired,
Right.
not my normal energetic self. But overall, I think it was good. A lot of people have given some good feedback. So maybe there's an avenue there in the future doing some commentating.
That's a pretty well-worn path. The, pro athlete finishes his career and moves on into the booth.
I'd love it. Hopefully, by the time I'm ready to step down from, being in front of the camera, I can, or I mean, on the course at least, I can step into some broadcasting. And there's a lot of races to be commentated. At least that's the hope for all of us, that we can get some good broadcasting and be able to, have our Saturday morning OCR.
That is the vision, right? Like live races every weekend. We're working towards it.
That'd be cool, man. And it seems like the OCR report's making really good strides in that department. Um, really putting an effort into putting out a good product versus just slapping together, some like live feeds from cell phones at the venue. Like actually trying to put together a good product. Like having Jason Dupree behind the scenes to switch cameras and make sure everything's going well, graphics on the screen. It's really cool to see, guys putting effort into that product, because it shows.
Jason gets all the credit for that. He is a wizard behind the scenes. He's done all the work. He's done the research. He knows what he's doing. It's very impressive what he's done.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things from some of the coverage, and I think it's just going to get better and better with time. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Hey, tell me more about your 3K training. Would you say that you are like specializing in the 3K, or is it just like kind of your skill set where it just kind of lands, or you enjoy the 3K the most? What's 3K like versus 15K? I'm thinking.
Well, I do enjoy it a lot. I like moving fast. I like seeing obstacles attacked, because in the 15K you don't really see that as much. You see a much more conservative approach, and then people really lay into the running and the climbs, which is cool in its own right. But in the 3K you get to see athletes taking risks, athletes jumping into all these obstacles, making big moves to shave a quarter second, half second when they can. I think that's a lot cooler. I think it's a lot more fun visually for people to watch, and it's very exciting to be there and see athletes going as fast as they possibly can the entire time. So I just like the concept of the 3K and the short course style of racing, but it also fits my skill set really, really well. And like I mentioned earlier, I got sick earlier this year, and I took a couple months of not being able to consistently train, only being able to train 1 or 2 days a week. And that took a lot of fitness from me. So going into OCR Worlds, I only had 5 or 6 weeks of training under my belt. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to survive 15 kilometers and 4,000 feet of climbing. It was just a little beyond my means. So I decided to just sign up for the 3K, pick that, and train specifically for it. So sharpen my skills to be the best 3K athlete I could be in a month and a half. And it worked out. It's just something I naturally have a skill set for. So I fit really well into it. I didn't have to, go beyond my means anywhere. It was just, it fits me really well. So I was able to get to world championship level fitness in a short amount of time. So that's kind of why I chose the 3K. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. It's a blast.
Talked about OCR Worlds. Hopefully to see you at Spartan Worlds. What other races do you have on the schedule this year?
I'm bouncing around a little bit. Coming up next, I just found out about a race that's happening next week. Kind of bummed that there wasn't better promotion around this. I just found out about it. It's a stadium event in Colorado Springs from Cirrus Fitness, which is an obstacle gym up in Denver, but they put on their own events. Now they're putting on kind of a hybrid obstacle functional fitness race that's going to happen at the stadium here. So I'm going to hop in that. That's coming this weekend, day before my birthday. And then just found out we're going to make it to Battle Bunker in Chula Vista. So I'll be coming out, maybe come hang out with you, take your spare bedroom, and throw down out there. And then after that, DecaFit World Championships. And all these things are very like functional fitness based, which is not my wheelhouse. So I'm interested to see how I do. But the thing that matters most right now, and it looks like that's going to be like the main focus, and that's Spartan World Championships in December. I'm going to train specifically for that. I'm going to build the skills necessary and try to accommodate in some of my workouts to fit into Battle Bunker, DecaFit, that sort of thing. But overall, I'm going to rely on the fitness that I'm building for Spartan to kind of carry me through those things. A little bit of finesse will help as well. But overall, Spartan Worlds is where it's at. I'm really looking to add another world title to the resume, so that if I'm going to fly 18 hours to race, I'm coming to win.
Muhammad Ali said something like, train like as much as you can when you're young and then become a champion. They can never take that away from you, kind of thing. I'm butchering the quote, but Kobe Bryant's like, what do we play for? We play for rings. So
that's what's up.
Finishing
Yeah.
first at a world championship is a big deal.
Yeah, dude. Feels really good to be able to go back to back. There was some talk after last year's performance. I came in really, really fit, and I won that race handily. I wasn't challenged at any point. And I was able to cruise in like the second half of the race. It was just locked up already. And people are saying, there weren't enough athletes from Europe, like there wasn't representation from the world. And, that's true, but I can't control who shows up. I can just control, my performance and how I handle the race on the day. So getting to see some more of the European contingent and athletes from around the world getting to show up and race was really cool. And it kind of gave me, just another opportunity to prove myself and compete against the best. Unfortunately, that course was built for North American athletes, a lot more climbing than we see in Europe. So they were at a little bit of a disadvantage, but feels good to go back to back in Stratton. And while OCR Worlds was in the States, I got to take both those years in the 3K. And no matter where it goes next year, I'd like to keep that rolling. But hopefully we get to cross the pond again and give someone else the advantage, maybe the home field advantage, but I'm still coming for the title again, going for the three-peat next year.
Have you heard anything about next year's venue?
There's a Red Bull after party the last 2 years at OCRWC, and Adrian, if you don't know, he's the guy that owns Adventure. He's the race director for OCRWC. He makes a lot of the executive decisions. And he had a few drinks in him, and we're pressing, hey man, where are we going next year? Can we get a little something? And we'd start throwing countries out there. He's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then we were like, Denmark's cool. And then he was like, Sweden's pretty nice too. And I'm like, what was that? So it's probably not going to be Sweden. He was probably just like, throwing us off like he usually does. But the nice thing about OCRWC is that they get their stuff together really quickly. He said within the next 2 weeks after the event's over, you're going to have a date and you're going to have a location. So they're really good about that. So I'm looking forward to see where we get to go next year, and I'll be booking my Airbnb real soon.
Maybe he threw you Sweden to get you off the scent of Denmark.
Maybe that would be cool. Either way, I just want to go somewhere I've never been before. I traveled all over the States. I've been to Mexico now. I'd like to get off this continent and go somewhere else. I finally got my passport a couple of years ago, and I'm looking to use it. So send us somewhere cool. I'll take the opportunity to make it a vacation while I'm at it.
Give you stamps in that book.
That's right.
You mentioned some of the criticism you heard or you felt after last year's race. There are a lot less athletes than usual because of 2021 and travel restrictions. Was that kind of in your head prepping for 2022? Like you have to win 2022 to kind of legitimize 2021 in your head? Was that a concern, or was 2022 its own thing?
It wasn't too much of a concern. I was happy with my performance, and if you're training for a world championship and you are training to win, I'm not thinking about any specific athletes. I'm preparing for anyone on the planet to step on that start line, because if you want to win, you have to be ready to beat anyone in the world in order to be world champion. So I was ultimately the last 2 years, I knew he wasn't going to be there this year, and last year we didn't know, but I was training for John Albin. The only place I've ever raced him has been in Tahoe, when I was not ready for those races. And now we got to do something that really fit my skill set, and I wanted a chance to race him because in my mind, he is the best. He's the best we've seen. And if you want to test yourself against the best in the world, he is the standard in my mind. So I still haven't had that chance. Hopefully in the future he can come back, but he's on to really big, impressive things right now. So I don't blame him for not showing up to a little obstacle race. But yeah, I mean, I feel confident in my performances, and I feel confident that, if we head to Europe, I can throw down with those guys. And even on the more technical obstacle courses, I feel like my skill set really fits that. So I'm excited to see what we got next year. And no matter who steps on the start line, I'm coming to win, because that's just kind of how I approach racing. Just is what it is.
Tell me about your race gear. What do you wear when you win a world championship?
Well, obviously Veejay has to wear Veejay shoes. We have these awesome shoes called the Extreme 2, and they're really solid. I've had some good experiences with them. Every race that I've won this year has been in those shoes, so I'd say they're pretty solid. Lots of improvement from previous years. Some of their older shoes are pretty crap, and that's why I wouldn't work with them historically, but they've made a lot of improvements, and they've made strides to become like a really solid trail running company and making really good products. So you look at the podium of the 3K, all those athletes finished in the same pair of shoes. So the best in the world are operating with the best equipment in the world. Veejay shoes is solid. And on my body, I'm rocking Virus compression gear. I've been wearing their clothing for many years before we finally got to work together. and they make the best gear in the game. And we're really close to releasing an OCR line that I've been working on with them, really figuring out all the details to make a product that's specific to this sport and specific to my specifications and what I look for in gear. And supply chain's been a nightmare trying to get the products that we need from the manufacturers to put this all together. And we were supposed to have this out before the beginning of this year, and it's been a nightmare. But soon enough, we're going to have a very cool Virus International OCR line built for the OCR athlete, built for the sport of OCR. It's going to be the best gear in the game, and we'll have it. Just be patient with us, and we'll have something coming your way. But it's very, very cool.
Do you have any other sponsors or anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, absolutely. Naked Sports Innovations. Those guys have been working with me for the last few years. We've had a great time together. You might notice, I'm noticing on a lot of athletes in the age group, elite, open waves. I'm noticing these naked bands and these naked vests carrying their stuff on the race course. And I've been preaching it for the last few years. I always wear it on all of my runs, whenever I need to bring fuel, whenever I need to bring my phone, whenever I bring my keys, they don't jingle while I'm running. And that was a big complaint from almost every product I'd ever used beforehand. So if you're bringing something with you on your run, Naked Sports Innovations got you covered. Venga CBD, we've been partners for a long time now. Colorado-based CBD company with a lot of innovation coming out of a small company. They're my smallest sponsor, but I can't imagine working with anyone else just because their product is superior to everything else that I've tried. And I've tried a lot in the game. It's not hard for an elite athlete to get free products sent to them. So I've tested tons of stuff, and these guys are where it's at. So I'll probably work with them for the rest of my career just because it works better than anything else. And a new partner for this year was True Wild. They're a nutrition company that's all natural. And that's a big thing for me. Most of these nutrition companies, they're working with artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. And, in 20, 30 years, who knows what kind of health issues we're going to see from all the crazy products that we're putting in our bodies these days. So I like to keep it natural, keep it healthy. And True Wild's been supporting all my workouts and all my races. So got a shout out to them. And the main thing is their stuff actually tastes good, because you get this all natural stuff and it usually tastes so bad, but you force yourself to do it because you're trying to be healthy. And, it's a tough battle against, between being healthy and what tastes good. This fortunately brings those things together, and you can actually enjoy being healthy at the same time versus, having to go like a monk mode and just force yourself to eat dirt to be happy and healthy. So True Wild, man, good flavors for a healthy life. I just came up with that slogan. They should put that on a t-shirt.
That sounds like a catchphrase. That's extemporaneous there, just top of your head.
Yep. Just off the top of the dome, and look for the t-shirts next week.
How do you like those Bose headphones?
I won these in a race back in like 2017, and I've kept them, and they have seen some miles, these guys. I might need to get some new ones soon, but they're working, man. I can't imagine like having better noise canceling out of some new products. They're trying to sell me, and that they're doing a really good job. So I don't know. I'm going to try to hold on to these. Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, there's these other products right here. Not sponsored, but they should sponsor me. These little guys right here, they sit over your ear and they don't cover your ear. They vibrate in the front. It's like a bone conduction thing. So like if a bear starts running after you in the mountains, you can hear it coming and have a chance to get away, versus if you're, got full headphones or earbuds in, you won't hear it coming and you're just, bear food. So I like to hear what's going on around me. I don't want to, get eaten by a bear.
I feel like if a bear starts running after you in the woods, like your headphones are going to be the least of your problems. Like
that's fair.
Bears are fast.
For a while when I first moved out here, like I lived in SoCal before I came to Colorado, and I was, every trail I went on had like, 50, 60 cars in the parking lot and, tons of people out there hiking in their flip-flops and stuff. And you know, I was never gonna get attacked by a wild animal. Now sometimes I head out to these trails, I'm the only one out there, man. And for a while I was carrying a firearm with me because I didn't know what was going on. I've evolved past that because I think I'm okay and I'm safe in certain areas, but that concern's always there. And always in your mind, you're like daydreaming about like, if I got jumped by a mountain lion, like could I be that superhero guy that's able to choke out this mountain lion and carry it back to the village and, show everybody how tough I am? Or am I just gonna be dinner? But I feel like a lot of trail runners have that daydream here and there about them, throwing that animal that attacked them over their shoulders and carrying it back. Um, but so far I've been lucky. So far I've been safe. But hopefully it doesn't come to
I have never had that daydream in my life
that.
of wrestling a bobcat to the ground, choking it out, and taking it home to the wife and cooking it.
It's more like I imagine, suddenly I'm transplanted to like a somewhere in New Mexico, and I just stumble out of the trees into this like smaller town, and they're like, what happened to him? I got like blood coming off my face, and I got this big old mountain lion over my shoulders just bringing it in. They're like, wow. And then I'm just a legend. um you know and realistically probably not going to happen, but there was a story where this guy got, so like a mountain lion attacked his kid and he choked it out. He straight up choked out the mountain lion. So it's possible. So I
Okay,
keep that in the back of my mind.
you know what? That's the thing. I didn't think like you hear those stories about like women picking up cars because their kids are trapped
Yep.
underneath them. Like if your
Mhm.
kids or your loved ones are at risk, then yeah, maybe you could do it. Like take the jaw,
Yeah.
like break its mouth. Like I get it, I get it. If your kids are at stake, your loved ones.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I love myself enough to have that same experience, but um, that's why I run with the headphones. We're gonna loop it all the way back to this was a headphone conversation. Um, a more realistic approach to sell people on those headphones is you can hear cars. You can hear cars on the street. So that might be more relatable for most people. Yeah.
How can people follow you on social media?
Um, in the title of this interview, I don't know if it's going to say interview with like OCRWC athletes or if it's going to say interview with Veejay Jones.
You tell
But
me.
if it says interview with Veejay Jones, then you just type Veejay Jones into that old search bar, and I'll pop up. Hopefully, I mean, if there's another Veejay Jones, they better watch out. I'm coming. I'm
VJ
coming to take that name.
VJ spelled out Veejay.
That is correct. Yes. It's on the old YouTubes. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel rocking again. Instagram's probably the best place if you want to like see what's going on day to day. And yeah, man, um, trying to really pump up that media presence because that's just the game nowadays. I tried to go the normal route of just being a good athlete, but it's not enough. You have to really like put out content. So I'm working on it. I filmed like 10 different videos while I was at OCRWC. So a lot of content rolling out here soon. And we're working.
VJ, any last thoughts on the OCR World Championships? Anything else?
Um, just a shout out to them. Thanks for putting on the best event of the year after year. It's the most professional feeling event that we get to do the whole season. Every time I come away from that event, it was just the best experience that I've had. So shout out to those guys, shout out to the build crew, the people that are putting on the event behind the scenes, Adrian, and those peeps. They're doing a great job. So support them whenever they announce their events, sign up and show up next year. It is the event of the year. My favorite event that I've done in my entire career, and it's going to stay that way. So I had a blast. I'll be doing that race every year that I can until I retire, which fortunately is a few years away. So just shout out to them. It was a great experience.
VJ Jones, thanks much.
Yes, sir.